Hey guys, we're going to be changing out this brake caliper on a 2012 Mazda 3. This one's got the smaller brakes. There's a bunch of different variations of the Mazda 3 depending on the engine, but I believe there's just the regular like economy brakes, and then higher up models have like a full 4-pot caliper, I believe. I could be wrong on that. But I'm going to try to show you how to quickly do this. Now, we got the brake line going into our caliper right here, and you can see this nut right here threads into the caliper, and coming out of the nut, we have a line. So this nut is supposed to spin separately on the line, but what happens is you can see all the rust that's built up on there, and they actually rust together and lock together. So a lot of times what we're going to have to do is we'll break this free, and then I'm gonna have to unbolt the brake caliper and actually just hold the line and spin the whole caliper assembly off, because otherwise we're going to end up twisting up that line. It probably won't move separately like it's supposed to. So that's no big deal. I've got a loaded caliper that we'll be installing, so it comes with the bracket and all that stuff already assembled. So I'm literally just going to buzz out these two 17mm bolts in the back once I get this cracked free. And we'll just pull the whole assembly off with the anchor and the pads and everything all in it. And then we'll just unscrew it and take it right off and get the new one on there. So I'm going to go get a wrench. I thought it was a 14, but it's smaller than that. It's a 13 because this car is a Ford. That makes sense now, see. I thought it was a Japanese car, so I was like, it's got to be a 12 or a 14. But no, it's a 13. So we're pretty seized in there. I feel like this nut is going to round. I wanted to use a line wrench, but they don't give you enough space in between to get a line wrench on it. My snap-on line wrenches are too thick, so I might have to try to put a little bit of heat into that. The issue being is you have to watch these rubber lines. They just get crimped on, and if you don't open up the bleeder screw, or you get too much heat into this fitting, the line will basically explode off of here and shoot hot brake fluid in your eyes. So don't do that. But a little bit of heat might go a long way. So I think I'm just gonna heat it up and we're gonna try it. All right, 8mm for the bleeder screw. Like I say, I'm just gonna open this thing up. It's gonna start dripping fluid. That's fine, I got lots of fluid in the reservoir. Now we got the pressure off, so I'm gonna grab the torch here. Fire this thing up. Fire up the torch with the torch. Okay, now we're just gonna put some heat into this thing. I have a bigger torch, but I don't wanna get insane with it. It's wild though, a little bit of heat goes a long ways. Okay, we got her moving now. It's just what I wanted. Now I gotta close this bleeder screw off so that we're not losing a bunch of fluid, even though we're gonna lose a bunch of fluid, whatever. Okay, now I gotta buzz these 17mm bolts out of the back. I have a 1/2-inch swivel socket. Let's see if I can sneak in there. The old ground throw works every time. Yeah, get this last one. Now I can take this off. Okay. Now I grabbed a 1/2 inch. I was able to jam it on there, but I don't think it's 1/2 inch. It's just so rusted that we've lost a bunch of distance. I'm gonna grab my 13 mil wrench. Yeah, this is a real pain, but this is just what you gotta do when things are rusted. Otherwise, you have to change the flex line, which is cool, but I don't have one. Customer didn't supply one. It's late at night, and we're doing what we gotta do.
Can you turn by hand yet?
Probably not. Oh, yep. I can. All right, now we just gotta grab our new brake caliper. Oh, it's sitting right here. Take the little thing out. Now this part might be a little bit tricky. Perfect, so I'm guessing we should be like that. We gotta tighten it down just a little bit. So we'll hang this thing up. Almost. I'd say probably like that. So, perfect. Now just wash all the brake fluid off of it. Greasy, man. That's gross. We are changing the rotor as well. We have another video on how to just like change out the rotor and pads. So if you're looking for that, head over to the channel and check it out. We got that too. So if you are changing it though, make sure you clean this surface for your new rotor and clean all this crap off as well. All right, we're gonna get this thing bolted on. These 17 millimeter bolts get torqued to 74 foot-pounds, I believe. Okay, now we're going to remove these pins. Nice, they Loctited those in there. That's nice of them. Red Loctite too. What a bunch of jerks. Okay, just gonna set that there. We've got our brake pads. We're just gonna put a bit of copper anti-seize on the end of those. And this one's gonna go in here. The other one's gonna go in our caliper. That's what these springs are for. It goes into the piston of the caliper. Get these lubed up. Just get her all over there. One in here. Hopefully it doesn't fall on the floor. And then this one just gets pressed into the piston like so. Then we can install this like that. And we can put our pins in. In the hole. Oh, there's a cap. Take our caps off. Get this started in here. And once we get those in there, we'll be torquing those down to 22 foot-pounds. That's the spec. And then we got our caps. Stick them on. And that's pretty much it. We do need to bleed this caliper because it's new and there is now air in the system. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that our reservoir has fluid in it. I'm gonna lower that down and show you how much fluid we need.
Should we put the spring on first?
Yeah, we can do that. Don't forget the spring. This little tension spring goes in these holes, just like so. Keeps the caliper stable with loaded tension. Take this hook out, don't forget that. Okay. All right, go into your dad's garage, find that 17-year-old bottle of brake fluid that hasn't had a lid on it. I'm just kidding, don't do that, get a new bottle. Now we're using .4. This system calls for .3, but that's okay. You can mix .3 and 4 as long as it's in a system that calls for .3. You can't do it the other way around. So I'm just filling this up pretty much till it's full. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Bleeder screws. 8mm. Oh no, it's Imperial. Cunts.
So what just happened?
Well, I tried a 10. That didn't work. And I tried an 8. And that didn't work. Maybe it's a 9. Probably not though.
And this aftermarket garbage has different hardware sizes?
Yeah, it's different than the OEM sizes. So, I mean, that sucks. It really depends on where you get your caliper from, I guess. So it looks like a 9mm fits, which is absolutely insanity. Never seen that before in my career, but first time for everything.
Especially in the aftermarket world.
Yep. So crack that bleeder screw open. Now, you could have an assistant pump the brake pedal up and then hold it down while you open the bleeder screw. There's a whole procedure on that. You could also use a water bottle with a tube on it. There's videos of all that stuff on how to bleed a caliper. I'm using a vacuum bleeder. So this is just going to basically suck the fluid out. And I just turn it on. Start sucking. You can see the fluid coming out. A little tricky to see, but I'm just going to keep an eye on the reservoir here and watch the fluid level. And once it gets down a little bit, I'll stop the vacuum bleeder, close off the bleeder screw, pump the brake pedal a bunch. That'll engage the piston all the way. And then I'll gravity bleed it a couple times until the fluid level's right at the maximum. You can see the maximum level's right at the top. It says right on the side of the reservoir. Sorry. So when we're done, that's where we want our fluid level. So I'm just going to let that gravity bleed for a second. There will be some air still in the caliper, but as we let it sit, The fluid's gonna just make its way down and fill that caliper up, and then slowly just come out the bleeder screw. And that's gravity bleeding. You just open it up and let it come out on its own. So let that do its thing for a minute. All right, so it's been a minute. We can see we've got a steady stream, a steady drip of fluid. So now I'm just going to tighten this back up. The thing about brake fluid is it's so slippery, so it sucks when you got like these rubber gloves on. Here. Now, just snug. Doesn't have to be super tight. Now I'm going to go pump the brake pedal a bunch of times. Once again, I'm going to crack the bleeder screw again. And you can see for just a second there, we had some air coming out. I'm just going to let that gravity bleed again. Should probably catch this in a cup instead of just letting it puke out all over the floor. But I don't have a cup. All right, so do that procedure like 2 or 3 more times where you just tighten it up, go pump up the brake pedal, come over here, crack it, let it drip a little bit, tighten it back up, pump up the brake pedal, repeat. Make sure you keep an eye on the fluid level though on your reservoir, because if it runs dry, you're in trouble. You're gonna have to bleed all of the brakes. So very important, make sure you keep an eye on that. And then wash it off when you're done. You wanna make sure everything's clean in case you do have a leak, you'll know for sure. So grab yourself some brake cleaner, parts cleaner, some sort of cleaner. Give the caliper a nice rinse. I'll let that dry up. And there's a little cap that goes on the end of the bleeder screw. This is the cheap shitty one that came in the box. Or we got the nice OEM one right from Mazda. So I'm gonna use the nice one because it looks nice. Boom. If you want, you could put some sort of like protectant, like that honey goo I was using. You could spray it on these lines just in around here to keep it from rusting. That's what I'm gonna do for the customer because I'm a nice guy, but completely up to you. Don't get it on the disc brake or anything like that. All right, last thing, we got our wheel put on there. Get your wheel nuts started, torque those down in a 5-star pattern, 100 foot-pounds. Retorque them after 100 kilometers of driving. And you're pretty much done. Just make sure you pump up your brake pedal and all that good stuff before you back up or drive forwards, just to make sure everything's cool. And yeah, if you got any questions, throw them down in the comment section below. I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have. Give the video a thumbs up if it helped or if you liked the video. And don't forget to subscribe for more content. We've got lots of videos.